institutional heritage, we assemble here on a platform that is dedicated to the very foundation of any great republic, which is the pursuit of knowledge and scholarly research. And in an environment that fosters critical inquiry and historical rigor, there is no more fitting way to honor our national journey than by engaging deeply with the complexities of our past. Today, we don't just celebrate a date in the history, but rather we celebrate the intellectual freedom that allows us to analyze, to debate, and document the making of India through an academic lens as scholars. And GSTS is a platform that has been making waves with its remarkable achievements. We were featured in the Times of India post our 200th talk session. We have also had the privilege of being part of the prestigious Changemaker Summit by G20. Our research extends far and wide with telecasts on Doordarshan News, not once, not twice, but thrice, featuring in their show Good News Just by India Ka. We have recently crossed the milestone of 250 sessions and had the honor of grooming graduates, postgraduates, MPhil, and PhD scholars, as well as nurturing a new generation of school students in this journey. With the staggering array of all these kaleidoscopic topics that we have had so far, GSTS 256 aims to continue to inspire, educate, and innovate, leaving an indelible mark in the world of knowledge sharing. And the team behind this execution is worth to be mentioned, which includes Mr. Shubham Tiwari, Mr. Saurabh Singh, Mr. Ankit Kumar, Mr. Ajay Gupta, Ms. Manvi Saraswat, Mr. Shalendra Rathod, Mr. Manthan, and I. And all of us have been working and exploring various domains of knowledge under the guidance and motivation of Dr. Manish Karwar, who is contributing his untiring and impeccable efforts as the founder and advisor of the platform. So, moving further, it is often believed by a lot of us that time moves in a beautiful circle at times. And today we have the privilege of witnessing that firsthand. Having once contributed to this platform as a speaker, this scholar returns today in the capacity of guest of honor, a transition that should fill us with immense pride and serve as an inspiration to every scholar here present today. So it is a distinct honor to welcome our today's guest of honor, Ms. Komal Thakran, a distinguished scholar from the Department of African Studies at the University of Delhi. Currently a junior research fellow and PhD candidate, her doctoral research offers a rigorous examination of the Indian diaspora on the Swahili coast during the 19th century. An alumna of the University of Delhi for both her undergraduate and postgraduate studies, her scholarly portfolio spans Indian ocean history, heritage studies, and cultural theory. And her contributions to the field are well recognized through numerous publications in Scopus indexed journals around transoceanic trade networks, specifically focusing on the historical evolution of Indian textile influences in Africa. And beyond her primary research, she plays an a voice and an active role in the academic community in her department, frequently contributing to book reviews and presenting her findings at prestigious national and international conferences. And to revisit, she was a speaker for the 143rd talk at our platform, which was on 28th November 2023, almost a year and a half ago. And the topic was shared cultural connections between India and Africa through the ages. And now we all welcome you today as the guest of honor, and we would like to have some of your initial remarks along with the permission to go ahead with the further proceedings.
Thank you, Samriddhi. Really, it is so amazing to listen that you guys introduced me in such a way that I was a speaker and now I am a guest of honor. In itself, it's an achievement, and I am really thankful for this platform. That earlier I was at a very initial stage of my research where this platform was a way to represent my research as a scholar or somebody who have just entered into that field. And currently I can say that this platform really boosted my confidence, and it helped me to grow up with some connections to be made in this particular field in which I'm working upon. So I'm really thankful to you and whole GSTS team for inviting me again for this interesting talk today. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we would revisit for your suggestions and remarks once the speaker is done with the presentation. So, as I mentioned previously, as we gather here on the eve of India's Republic Day, exploring the topic which is about military strategies and power dynamics of the 16th century, we should realize how this information that we will have today can offer a profound perspective on our national journey so far. While the republic that we celebrate today was formalized in 1950, its geographic and cultural soul was forged in the crucible of these wars, these very struggles that we had between the Mughals, the Mewar, the Marwars, and by analyzing the formation of all these wars and the impact that they had, all these pivotal battles, we can recognize that the making of India is a centuries long saga of resilience and synthesis. And it is a story that has navigated complex power dynamics and has eventually made India emerge as the sovereign, unified, democratic republic that we honor today. So, without any further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Shivam Kumar Singh from the Vellore Institute of Technology with this topic, the changing military landscape of North India from 1526 to 1576. So, Mr. Shivam, the stage is all yours and good luck for your presentation.
Thank you, Samriddhi. So I'm just checking if everything is visible to you. Just tell me.
Yes, your screen is visible. You may go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Samriddhi. Before I start, I would like to thank the GSTS platform for giving me this opportunity to present my ideas. I would also like to thank Dr. Manish Karamwas, sir, founder and advisor GSTS, Ms. Komal Thakran, guest of honor, and all the dignitaries present here. I, Shivam Kumar Singh, and I will be presenting on the topic, the changing military landscape in North India, 1526 to 1576. I have done my BTech in Mechanical Engineering from VIT Vellore, and currently I am pursuing Masters in History. While doing my bachelor's, I worked in piezoelectric energy harvesting using lead zirconite titanite, mitigating rat tail defect, and cyber architecture of India. While doing my bachelor's, I also got attracted towards history. The story of Vellore mutiny and the fort where it happened pushed me more towards the history. So I took up this topic as I believe that it will help me in understanding how technology helped change course of history. To sum it up, so as to why an engineer will come into humanities, I would like to borrow few words from the Dead Poet Society, and I quote, medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. So now in the course of my discussion, I will be discussing first Battle of Panipat, Battle of Khanwa, Battle of Chausa, Battle of Bilgram, Second Battle of Panipat, Battle of Tukaroi, Battle of Haldighati. While discussing these battles, I will be focusing on the battle formation, strategy, course of war, and their outcome or impact. So to start, we will now see first Battle of Panipat. So according to Tuzuke Babri, the exact strength of Babur is not mentioned, but in Akbarnama, they say that it is around 12,000 cavalry. However, Lieutenant Colonel Wolseley Haig estimate it to be 25,000. Ibrahim Lodi's army was around 1 lakh men and 1,000 elephants. These number about Lodi's army appears inflated as Tujuke Babri mentions years of civil war and scarcity of money in Lodi's camp. Babur's army, as part of its military formation, was divided into vanguard, left wing, right wing, and the central Qibla. Apart from these, he stationed two bodies of Turkish horsemen at left and right wing of two, and the two bodies of Iltutmish, whose job was to reinforce hard-pressed wing. Babur himself was commanding the central army. The central front was led by Ustad Ali Kuli, who was commanding the matchlock contingent, and Mustafa Khan Rumi commanded left of the center. Now for the strategy, Babur used two very famous strategies, Araba and Tulugma. In Araba, he protected his front by a lagger of 700 baggage cart. The wheels of every two was tied in a Turkic fashion with ropes of raw ox hide. The carts were 16 yards apart, and in between six sealed of wooden tripod was set up. In Tulugma, he stationed two bodies of Turkish horsemen at the outer end of right and left wing, whose task was to turn the enemy's flank and take him in the rear, and to end this with pincer attack. Apart from these, the selection of location by Bauer was also very strategic, as Tujuke Babri mentions that his forces were located on the east of Panipat town, with, with his face to the south. On his left was the ditch, which was probably formed by receding of Yamuna towards east. To cover other location which had no natural protection, Bauer used tree branches. During the course of the war, the Lodi army initiated by attacking the right wing, so Iltutmish was rushed to reinforce it. This slackened the Afghan pace, and hence they lost the advantage of shock and also sent them into disorder. Now the touring party of Mughal made a detour on the right and the left, and on reaching enemy's rear began to rain arrow, and at the same time left and right wing of the Mughal also advanced. Because of this, elephant proved to be of no use. Afghan tried to sever right using wing of Babur so as to cut him from the Panipat city, but the Iltutmish proved useful in it. In the next stage, Babur engaged the Afghan center. The matchlackman of Ustad Ali Kuli and the carted gun of Mustafa Khan Rumi worked havoc among the densely crowded Afghan rank. By this time, Lodhis were surrounded from all sides, and finally they lost. Now, for the outcome of this war, the North Indian Army for the first time saw two new military strategies, namely Araba and Tulugma. Apart from this, the technology of matchlock gun came for the first time, which was an import from Ottoman Turkey. Now, we will proceed towards the Battle of Khanwa, 1527. The battle formation of Babur was that first the baggage cart was placed in one line in front, about 40 feet apart, but tied together with oxhide. In between these cart, 5 to 6 movable shields fixed to these wheeled tripods were placed, behind which musketeers sheltered while firing. In the line of linked cart, coming was left at 60 yards for horsemen. In second line, he placed mortar, falconets, and foot musketeers. And in the third line stood regular heavy cavalry. Ustad Ali Kuli was posted at Jinsi Topkhana, and Mustafa Khan was at the center of the right wing with his musketeer and Jamburka. The cavalry was divided into three parts: the right wing under Prince Humayun, left wing under Mehdi Khwaja, and the center under Babur himself. For strategy, Babur used Tulugma and Araba as before. In this war, he fortified his position as part of his strategy. He also used guns which was practically unknown to the Rajputs. The use of mortar and a small fiery field gun called Tire Tufang proved effective. According to Mirate Sikandari, during the first 3 hours, only hand-to-hand fighting took place at two wings. The Mughal gunfire kept Rajput from attacking the Qibla. At this stage, the Silhadi chief crossed over to the Babur side, which weakened the left wing of Rajputs, which forced them to make change in their plan. And the second setback which struck them was the Sangha lost consciousness during the 4th hour of the battle. The Rajput put up the Jhala chieftain on the royal elephant. The Tulugma attack on Rajput pushed them in the rear of their own center. At this moment, the pincer movement was started as Babur sent more troops from center to the wings, which finally led to defeat of Rajputs. Now for outcome, the Mughals became the victors of the North India, the Rajput confederacy broke up, and the Mewar got plunged into chaos, and this chaos continued till Rana Uday Singh got the throne of Mewar. The use of field gun and wheeled artillery came up. Now going towards the Battle of Tausa, 1539, the battle was fought between Sher Shah and Humayun. From the military strategy point of view, it teaches what not to do. On 16th August 1538, Humayun took Gaur from Sher Shah and spent 6 months in enjoyment while his soldiers were killed by climate, which forced him to return to Agra, during which Sher Shah forced him to halt at Chausa, which is 10 miles southwest of Buxar. Chausa was surrounded by river Ganga in the north and river Karmnasa in the west. Humayun was forced to camp for 3 months here. All this hardship forced many of his soldiers to desert him, and this also forced Humayun to open negotiation with Sher Shah. On the morning of 26 June 1539, Sher Shah struck Humayun's camp. He deluded his enemies by signing a peace treaty and then threw them off guard by sending Khawas Khan to attack the Chio chieftain. Sher Shah used decoy movement, in which he used to march out of camp to support his column, but used to return in morning. He did this on 2 successive nights. This made his troop accustomed to night marches in silence without delay or disorder. On the third night, he did surprise attack on Humayun's position after being joined by Khawas Khan. Sher Shah attacked Humayun's camp from 3 sides. In order to save himself, Humayun had to abandon his artillery and women to enemy. Next battle, we will see Battle of Bilgram 1540. Bilgram is located 3 miles distance from the bank of Ganga. According to Jadunath Sarkar, it was not a battle at all, but a helpless panic fight which covered Mughals with the unspeakable disgrace. Even before the battle started, Mughal camp was flooded, which made their artillery useless. In Mughal camp, swivel and mortar and handguns were placed in center, but all this fell apart once the chaos erupted in the Mughal side after fall of their amirs, and all formations were destroyed as a result of this. According to Tarikh-e-Rasildi, before the enemy has discharged an arrow, the whole army was scattered and defeated. 40,000 men fled. A vast number was drowned in trying to cross the Ganga. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, this battle proved that the army that cannot take the offensive is doomed, and purely passive defense is futile. War without strategy is mere butchery. Now we will be looking at Second Battle of Panipat, 1556, fought between Hemu Bhargav and Akbar. In the battle formation of Akbar, Ali Kuli Khan commanded Qibla, right wing was commanded by Sikandar Khan Uzbek, left wing by Abdullah Khan Uzbek, and the advance vanguard was commanded by Hussain Kuli Beg and Shah Kuli. In the side of Hemu, the right wing was commanded by Sadi Khan Khakkar, left wing by Ramya, and Qibla by Hemu himself. The battle was fought on 5th November 1556, about 4 miles northwest of the scene of First Battle of Panipat. Initially, Hemu sent forward his advance guard with the greater part of his artillery to Panipat. Akbar's advance division, led by Ali Kuli Khan Sahbani, confronted it by combining deceptive cunning with hard-hitting audacity. According to Akbarnama, the Ghazis added feline skill to deeds of tiger. After this, Hemu advanced to the fight at the head of 30,000 Rajput and Afghan horsemen. Hemu protected his 500 elephant by plate armor and by placing musketeers and crossbowmen on their back. The Mughal cavalry of 10,000 under the command of Ali Kuli Khan, Hemu's superior number may have won him war had he not been struck with the arrow. Added to this, the death of Bhagwan Das and Sadi Khan Kakkar also weakened Hemu's army. At last, the Mughal defeated Hemu. As part of strategy, it was again proved that in the absence of artillery, only a miracle could make Mughals victorious. Even though Hemu lost the war, but the elephant attack used by him brought elephant back as part of the war strategy. As an outcome, the Afghan challenge for the throne of Delhi was removed forever. Now moving forward, we have Battle of Tukaroi 1575, fought between Mughals and Karani. The battle formation of Mughal was that the vanguard under Alam Khan, Iltmis under Kia Khan, Qibla under Munim Khan, left wing under Asraf Khan and Todarmal, and the right wing under Sahani Khan. The whole army was marshaled by Munim Khan. During the start of the battle, the Mughals were not prepared. It was only after they saw the enemy that Munim Khan ordered the formation. Even before the formation be completed, The Karani elephant squad under Gujar Khan destroyed the Mughal vanguard. The tusk and the neck of the elephants were covered with black yak tails and the skin of animal, which produced horror and dismay in the horses of imperial vans, and Mughals lost their formation as per Akbarnama. Khan Alam was slain and his division was scattered, and in similar way, Iltmis and Qibla was also swept away. The tide shifted once the Afghan, after their initial success, went around to loot the Mughal camp, and Daud did not follow up Gujar Khan's successful charge. The Afghan right wing under Sikandar also did not gain any success because here Todermal and other officers stood their ground. In the meantime, Mughal army had rallied. They used old Turkic fashion attack using arrow from horseback. One of these arrows killed Gujar Khan, after which Afghan vanguard melted away, after which Mughal army swept away the Karani Afghans. As part of strategy, the Karani painted the tusk and the neck of the elephant to create optical illusion for the Mughal cavalry. The use of elephant squad by Gujar Khan showed the effectiveness under an able commander. As far as impact goes, the Bengal, which had the habit of declaring itself independent once they sensed weakness of Delhi, from now on remained part of the Central Empire. At last, we will now be looking at Battle of Haldighati, 1576. According to Al-Badauni, Rana's army consisted of 3,000 horsemen. Bhil bowmen of Punja numbered 400, while Man Singh commanded 10,000 men, out of which 4,000 were his own clansmen from Kachawa and 1,000 another Hindu auxiliary forces. Each side possessed war elephant. Rajput had no firearm, but the Mughals had a certain number of musketeers. However, Mewari sources put Man Singh army at 80,000 and Maharana Pratap at 20,000. The battle formation of Man Singh included 85 suicide troopers led by Sayyid Hasim of Barra, Harawal Dasta under Jagannath and Bakshi Ali, Asaf Khan, Iltamis under Madhav Singh Kachwaha, Qibla under Man Singh, left wing under Mullah Qaji Khan of Badakhshan and Rao Lakhan, right wing under Sayyid of Barra. The formation of Mewar included Harawal Dasta of 800 horsemen under Hakim Khan Suri, Bhim Singh and Ramdas Rathor, right wing under Ram Shah Tomar, the disposed Raja of Gwalior, along with Bhama Shah and Tarachand. Left wing under Bidaman and the Jhala chief. Rear was taken by Bhil bowmen of Punja, Charan, Purohit and Mahta. The center was commanded by Maharana Pratap, since according to Al-Badauni, the Mughal left wing was posted at the mouth of the Dhasan-e-Ghati, which was southeast of Kamnur. Therefore, the battle was fought near Banas river. As far as tactic goes, Rana Pratap stocked all his resources on frontal charge, as his smaller size did not allow him to make Iltamis, as Captain Liddell has called it, the wild boar rush of Marshal Pétain. The use of elephant combat was done by both sides. In the course of the war, once the Mughal vanguard and left wing had been scattered and their right pressed hard, the battle moved to the center, where Sisodia and Kachawas grappled. As per Al-Badauni, at this stage, Ali Asaf Khan sent the Muslim cavalry hovered round the ring, shooting their arrow and bullets with unerring effect of contending Rajput. He remarked, on whichever side a man falls, it is a gain to Islam because it is one Hindu less. As last resort, Rana brought in his war elephant. In retaliation, Mughals sent in Gajmukta contingent to counter it. Once the tide of war moved totally in favor of Mughal, Bidaman, the Jhala chieftain, snatched away the royal Chhatri from Pratap Singh and rushed forward, as a result of which Maharana Pratap was saved. As far as outcome goes, even though the Mewar was defeated, but Mughals also failed to capture the whole of Mewar. The participation of Charan, Punj, Mehta and Bhil made it a people's struggle against the Mughal. To end this talk, I would like to conclude it with the Sutra of Chanakya. Friendship or enmity with neighboring state is just the way the world works. So thank you all for hearing me out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shivam. That was really a very meticulous presentation. I would say काफी comprehensive, and you discussed it in its detail and its entirety. And I like it, we would all appreciate the fact कि आपने कैसे you have like moved beyond the dates and names to reveal this sophisticated and strategic, you know, the frame that has governed this era that you picked, which was the 16th century. And I am like, I can see in the chat box that your insights have sparked a couple of questions. So we would now just quickly go ahead to the question and answer session. And we would like you to answer the questions that the inquisitive audience has posted. So the first question is by Mr. Shailendra Rathod, and he is asking, how did the political environment of North India between 1526 and 1576 led to the militarization of regional states?
See, during that time period, starting of 1526, if you look at the Mewar, the Rana Sanga, he was a very, very imperialist mindset. He initially had the plan to make a Mewar empire. So he is one contender. Lodis are already there, and Babar is coming from outside. So in all this situation, and also if you look at the Mewar's map, in the south they have the Gujarat Sultan. So they have problem with them also. So in all this situation, you need a very strong army. So at that point of time, Mewar had one of the biggest armies, even though they lacked artillery and musketeers and all this, but they were heavily invested in the army, and so does the other powers. So it was precisely because of the political situation of that time. I believe that this army system, or this too much of dependence on army came up around.
Very well answered. We have another question that is, like, can you throw some light on whether these battles affected the cultural integrity of then India?
Cultural integrity, I don't think, because if you look at this battle of Haldigati, it is an Afghan leading the Harawal Dasta of Maharana Pratap. So if you know about a little bit about Harawal Dasta is the first wave of army which goes to fight. Traditionally for Mewar, it is the Chundawats who have been leading this Harawal Dasta. For generations they have been doing this. But in case of Battle of Haldigati, it is Hakim Khan Suri, an Afghan. So it is not something like that. The cultural integrity was compromised or something like that, because in both the sides, even in the same battle, the commander from the Mughal side is a Kachawa prince, Man Singh. So it is not like that.
All right, Shivam, thank you for your insights. We have one more question um, that asks ki how the innovation during the half century from 1526 to 1576 transformed North India's centralization and shifted the balance of power and shaped the subcontinent's future.
Technological part you want to
नहीं
find?
सेंट्रलाइजेशन जो 1526 से 1576 में नॉर्थ इंडिया में जो सेंट्रलाइजेशन था, how was that transformed, and how did it shape the subcontinent's future, the future of India ahead?
See, the center. If I am getting this question right, I'm not sure whether I got this question in the correct sense or not. But what happened from 1526 to 1576 is that it is a period of consolidation for the Mughals in North India, starting from the first battle of Panipat, where Babar captures the throne of Delhi, to the Battle of Haldigati, where the Mewar power is reduced, and after Maharana Pratap dies, Amar Singh signs the treaty with the Mughals after fighting for around 16 to 20 years. He also fought, but finally he signed a peace treaty with the Mughals. So it is a period of consolidation for the North India. So centralization, definitely it took place, because one central figure is coming up in North India, that is the Mughals in this whole time period.
Okay, I have received two more questions that I'll ask you. So how do you think that what was the influence of Central Asian cavalry culture on the transformation of North Indian warfare? क्या influences थे?
it was precisely because of that. The Tulugma and the Araba, these are not the Indian innovation. One is from Central Asia, another is from Ottoman Turk, the Chagatai Turks. So if you have paid attention during the first battle of Panipat, when I was taking the names of the army commander from the Mughal side, many of them were from from Turkey, not and Central Asia, not Indians from the Babur side. So it is precisely because of that these technique like Tulugma, or in which a crescent shaped moon technique, or the pincer attack, which is ended with the pincer attack, and the Araba, where you have the loggers connected with the oxbow height, and sometimes with an iron chain, that allowed them to capture India. Because otherwise, the numerical wise, in the Battle of Khanwa, Mughal army is too weak to even stand against the Rajput army of the Rana Sanga.
Very well answered, Shivam. I think it also aligns with another question that I had, ki how Persian, Turkish, and Central Asian influenced the development of the artillery. I'll take one last question, that is, how did siege warfare and fortification strategies change during the 16th century that you are studying?
Before this time period, siege and fortification, it was mainly considered the forts. But if you look at Battle of Khanwa, Babur made a fortification using Araba for the first time. A temporary fortification was there. He did not had a fort. Mughals did not had any fort in Khanwa, but a temporary fort came around for the first time. And after that, it was continued in other wars like I think Battle of Chanderi, if I'm not wrong. There are many other battles in the initial phase of Mughal constellation where they are using this technique. But it starts from where? It starts from Battle of Khanwa.
Thank you so much, Shivam, for that rigorous question and answer session. काफी ज़्यादा comprehensive questions थे with a range of different topics being asked, but it's very interesting to see how you handled all those questions with your expertise and with your study that you made for the session today. And thank you so much for the presentation that you made. We have one last question that we asked to all the speakers, which is, can you please tell the audience present here about your experience with GSTS team and how did it all go with you?
Uh, for me, it was a very nice experience. Actually, last year in August only, sir told me to, Shivam, you prepare something. You have to give a talk on GSTS. I prepared my PPT and then sir also forgot and I also forgot. So, but last, I think 15 days back, I talked with sir that I have a friend from VIT, the last speaker, Tanusri. She wants to speak. So sir also got reminded about me. So from there, I had to prepare all these things. So thank you, sir, for keeping that in mind that I can also give. So thanks to GSTS too.
Thank you so much, Shivam, for that amazing presentation of yours today. And you have truly, I would say, have truly brought the making of India to life for us today. And you have beautifully presented the entire framework that was there in your research domain, which was the 16th century military strategies. And with that being said, it's now time to invite our today's guest of honor for the further suggestions and insights on the topic. So I would like to invite Ms. Komal to please elaborate on her perspective of today's presentation by Mr. Shiva.
Thank you, Samriti. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to congratulate Mr. Shivam. It was really a kind of go through for me, and so many facts that you talked about who led what. You know, it was us. There are so many wars, like you talked about Battle of Khanwa, where you talked about who led this right wing, left wing. It was something which I never read. So it was seriously very fascinating for me. I mean, I have never read into that much depth that I got to know, okay, this wing was, you know, guided by that person. And secondly, your whole presentation was elaboratively. You talked about all of the points in a very elaborative way. Like first you talked about who led what, then you talked about what was the way of, you know, pointing out those military, and what were the directions, and what were the strategic locations, the geographic locations, how they are very much strategic in nature. So your point of views were really interesting. Then the way you depicted them on the map, it was very catchy, to be honest. And I jumped out all of those maps. I zoomed up, and personally, while you were speaking, I was locating at what you were talking about. So this was really interesting. And to be somebody who is, talking on historical aspect, this is something which you really, put your 100. I mean, your whole of your presentation was 100%, but it was, extraordinary. So first of all, I have. Although you have talked about all of the aspects, but maybe I'll repeat some of them, or maybe somewhere I'll not be that much, I can say, influential as you were, but I have my own interventions. First of all, the idea of primary sources. If you perceive this topic in future, so I would like you to suggest to, put your more emphasis on the primary sources, like the Babarnama, as we've already talked about. Babarnama, Akbarnama, Tariq-e-Sher Shahi. Then also we have some oral traditions like Khyati tradition, which talks about so many battles of the time which were fought in the Rajasthan. So this Khyati tradition, which is sung by mostly the Barbic people, or mainly Bhat is a group of people who sang these songs, and the Charans. So these are still in the traditions of those people who lives in Rajasthan, who talks about Haldi Ghati, how it was fought, the bravery of Maharana Pratap, and the bravery of so many other rajas of that time. So this is something which you can touch upon in your future if you will see this topic more into depth. Then the way you talked about all of these, like in the Battle of Panipat, it is always that Babur won, but this is a partial, true. What actually matters is the idea about Tulugam, then the idea about Arba Karta system, which you touched upon, then the idea of controlled mobility, right? And the same is being visible during the time of Battle of Khanwa, which fought in 1527. Right. So then in Battle of Chosa, which happened in 1539, where you already talked about how Shesha, showed his bravery, not bravery, I mean the idea of intellect ideas while, fighting upon with the Mughals. Like he did not rely heavily on artillery. He relied on strategic location of geography. This is something which makes him a true, I can say, true emperor and true king of the time, who really worked upon hardly to look at to use geography as something to win the battles. Then he analyzed logistics, he analyzed terrain knowledge, and that could counter the Mughal force powers, which really did. So apart from that, if I talk in a in more ancient way, North India has been always a contested zone for conflicts as well as interactions. The same is being mentioned by the Bharatvarsha, one of the mentioned texts in Puranas, which talked about that North India is always a land of interaction as well as conflicts, because we have people migration from northwest frontier province, right? Whereas in the South India, it is a very it is not easy to interact with people because we have a barrier of ocean. Then in Mahabharata also we have some reputed threats being noted for the strategic locations like Kamboj, Gandhar, Saka region. So this depicts that North India is not always something to be settled. It kept on changing, right? And also we have Chanakya, which I just talked about, that how he talked about. He points out the threat to be come from mountain passes, then trade routes, then border plains. So he talked about this in a very ancient time, and the same is being depicted into the medieval times, which you talked about. So this is something really interesting too. And one of the questions which Samvidhi took upon from the audience about its aftermath into the centralization. So I would like to point here some 2 to 3 points. That first of all, there was decentralization through the concept of Jagidari system, Mansabdari system, which was later introduced by Akbar. Right. So this is a kind of, I can see this is a kind of decentralization, which is a great impact of those wars to train those sepoys, to train the cavalry, to capture the cavalry, and to handle such huge cavalries. Then, secondly, the officer ranks were introduced, right? They were given a rupture amount of salaries were given. Also, there was a transferable system, which was, I can say, although we have ICTA system, but at the time there was a transferable system introduced to minimize the corruption, first of all, to minimize the, to minimize some local connections, because of course it keeps on, a poke. I mean, it becomes a poke sometimes when we see to, cater whole of the empire into unification. Then a war victory always required continuity. So after 1576, we see that it is not single encounter which can gives the, which can gives the war. It makes a continuity alignment there. So this is what we see aftermath of these wars. Then lastly, if I talk about from the historical point of historiographical point of view, I'll talk a very brief about it, that how colonial historiography have sought this aspect, where British historians like James Mill, then Eliot, Donson, so they say that they see this period as a Muslim invasion, which is a rupture to other civilizations also, right? As I just discussed, the primary sources, we should not rely completely on Babarnama, Akbarnama. There are so many other indigenous sources which are yet to be uncovered. Maybe they are not written, but they are still orally alive in the oral traditions. So such perceptions led to a concept of religious domination, which ultimately led to the epistemic colonization, right, in history. So there is a great subaltern silence, which I can say, subaltern silence in the concept of like women outside the court. Non-elite women's are mostly absent in such stories. Then Adivasi resistance, local resistance, peasant resistance, and also non-religious practices during these warfares are somewhere not captured. So these are some points which you can, intervene in your future researches. Lastly, I would like to thank you and congratulate again for this interesting talk. And also I would like to thanks to this whole GSTS team for inviting me to this platform and for giving me this chance to be a guest of honor. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Komal, for adding those layers of information in your brilliant analysis of Shivam's talk today. And I'm very much sure that Shivam and all of us have gained a lot of insights to the topic that was there for the presentation today. And we would all agree to the fact that the inputs that you gave and the presentation that was made by Mr. Shivam, they have also mapped the path for academic excellence for all of us to follow. So thank you so much for your words and presence, and we would like to have you again back on the platform very soon. So, as we conclude today's insightful session on the eve of Republic Day, let us carry forward the spirit of inquiry and national pride. And therefore, as we conclude today's presentation, we thank our guest of honor for gracing us with her expertise and for showing us how the circle of time brings us back to our roots with greater and more nuanced wisdom. So, looking ahead to next Sunday, we will transition from the military strategies of the past to a vital pillar of our modern democracy. And the topic would be the electoral rights of persons with disabilities. So, as India continues to evolve as an inclusive republic, we we should ensure that every citizen can exercise their independence without barriers, and that should not just be a legal mandate, but a moral imperative for all of us. So, to introduce the same for our next session, I would now like to invite our upcoming speakers, Ms. Pragati and Mr. Harsh, to lead us through the objectives for their upcoming session. So, Pragati and Harsh, the stage is yours.
Greetings to everyone. I am Pragati and he's my batchmate Harsh Jha. We are currently pursuing BBA LLB from Vivekanand Institute of Professional Studies, Delhi. Our topic for GSTS conversation is very contemporary one. We will be talking about the electoral rights of persons with disabilities. So with that being stated, we would be presenting introduction about what is actually meant when it comes to the electoral rights of people.
So the objectives that we will talk about today is to examine the legal and institutional for full barriers participation of the people with PWDs.
We would be analyzing the role of technology in elections by assessing whether electronic voting promotes digital democracy or it deepens the digital divide for PWDs.
To evaluate the promise and risk of assistive electronic voting system for persons with disabilities,
We would be highlighting the shift from symbolic inclusion to meaningful participation by viewing accessible elections as a constitutional mandate rather than a policy choice.
so lastly, we would conclude by proposing a recommendation for creating a truly accessible and inclusive and rights-based electoral system for PWDs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pragati and Harsh. You would be looking forward to that much awaited session on next Sunday. And so now we arrive at the conclusion of today's evening. And to everyone here, thank you for your time and your dedication to and interest for the scholarly research. And we wish a happy Republic Day to you all. And we also look forward to seeing you next Sunday for another engaging session. So now I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Manish Karnwar. So, sir, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. It's really interesting to listen, everyone. Uh, so, first of all, I'll invite few of the scholars from the audience because right now we are having little more time. I would like to invite Akriti from Samlal Evening College for a very quick remarks. Dr. Akriti.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, because this is not my specialization, it's a topic of medieval, but what I got from his presentation, see how military landscape is continuously changing through different temporality. So I think what actually our guest of honor also said, that there are need to explore more sources about history writing, because there's this trend that we were relying on the court culture documents, or in modern era only the colonial documents, but this kind of oral tradition which is demand of this time as well, so we are exploring those. So I think this will be better if he can more explore these kind of sources. So thank you so much, and thank you for our speaker for presenting his topic very wonderfully. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Akriti. One of my one of a scholar from Vivekanand College, Mr. Naveen, are you here? Want to say something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. हाँ सर, टॉक सीरीज वाज वेरी अमेजिंग और बहुत इंसाइटफुल थी। मतलब कुछ बातें ऐसी भी की गई जिसको मतलब जो मुझे शायद नहीं पता थी, क्योंकि इसको मतलब इतना डीपली एनालिसिस तरीके से नहीं पढ़ा गया है। मैंने नहीं पढ़ा है इतना अच्छे से। तो जो चीज़ इन्होंने मतलब डिस्कस की अपने उसमें टॉक सीरीज में, तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब अंडरस्टैंडिंग बेस्ड थी और इंसाइटफुल थी और डीप रूटेड थी और हाईली एक्सप्लेन्ड भी थी। इसमें सर कुछ स्टूडेंट्स भी सर मेरे जुड़े हुए हैं अभी, जीएसटीएस में भी अभी भी ज्वाइन है वो, तो उनको भी अच्छा लगा सुनकर। तो बस यही है सर। और
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you.
जी
It's
सर।
a really
और
wonderful. Yeah.
बाकी काफ़ी टाइम से सर चल ही रहा है जीएसटीएस और चलता रहेगा ये हमेशा से। और बाकी बहुत कुछ यहाँ से सीखने को भी मिल रहा है और सभी लोग सीखते रहें इसी तरह से। और थैंक यू सो मच सर।
Good, good. Thank you, uh, Naveen. Now my remarks and the vote of thanks about the whole concept of war strategy. Um, as an engineering student, I just recall the Tanushree few words about the whole idea. मैंने उससे पूछा था तनुश्री वाई फ्रॉम इंजीनियरिंग टू हिंदी, तो उसने मुझे एक बात बोली थी कि सर, जब हम हिंदी स्टूडेंट्स को देखते हैं तो ना तो उनकी ए पर्सनालिटी ठीक है, ना तो बी है, ना तो सी है. सो नाउ इट्स टाइम टू इंजीनियर to catch up those positions. So it's a really true because what I heard from Shivam, though not everything is very conducive, but almost he done genuinely uh, genuinely good for this topic because as an engineer, and this is very important. Uh, that's why the new education policy, national education policy, uh, clubbed all subjects, each and every subjects into the one another manner where the engineering must meet history and club history and engineering and try to find out new ideas. Look, when we talk about the war strategy, though the time period was very limited, 50, 50 years, almost 50 to 60 years, but two or three, mostly four important points which are very notable regarding the logistics, intelligentsia, because he did not recapitulate all these things in the war strategy. He focused more on the ground, and that was very fantastic. Almost the elephant lost the war strategies in this these time periods, and or one more important idea that is gunpowder become the battlefield deciders. Earlier it was not, but after that, and this is the connection between India and the Europe. When the European power came to India, they involved gunpowder to the war strategy. Earlier, it was what happened. People got stuck, and somehow they recovered from the war wound. But after the gunpowder, it was very, very devastating to recover. The second thing, uh, artillery moved from the accessory to the backbone. Uh, Cavalry dominance. So these are the important. No, no, no. Cavalry declined the dominance, and the artillery moved the forefront. This is the two another important. And commanders become more disciplined and centralized. That's why Ms. Komal Thakran told us we are not going to understand so many things what the speaker presented, because now the commander, the why he introduced each and every commander in his presentation, because the commanding position is very important to fought any good war in this manner. And the last one is very important. They recruit diversified personality in one group. So what I understand through the war strategy, these are the major point which Mr. Shivam wanted to portray, and he portrayed very amicably, very articulated and intellectually. But apart from this, he has to mug up more primary sources, as our guest of honor also reiterated the same thing. Club between the Akbar Nama, Babar Nama, and the Humayun Nama. But the thing is, what these are the court writings. So to club all these court writings, we have to have some parallel writings, those who are not attached with the court, and after that we'll find about the new idea. Just like oral tradition, everybody knows that when the Europeans came to India and they wanted to dominate our history writing, they get away the oral writings, not in India but in the Africa also, and this way we lost our whole historicity and the connect to the past. How beautifully Komal had depicted in the Mahabharata. So many wars portrayed during her presentation. So this is the most important thing, how we portray our ancient past also to the medieval war strategy. And not everything came from the outside. Just like fort strategy, Mughal did not know about the fort strategy, and that fort strategy was the very strong part and parcel of the India's war strategy, more like Rajput's war strategy. Though Rajputs means not Rajput, that means not the caste only, those who ruling that time period. But somehow due to some internal fragmentations, and somehow there are too many leaders came out, that war strategy gone highways. But the ports and the major ideas how to protect, and earlier that war took control over these ports. When after all these years, Shivaji, and the most important thing in African cities, everybody's want to a strong port to control over the geographical location. So thank you very much all to understand and to revisit our war strategy. But again, why we need wars? So it's a very important thing. We stop war, and how we stop war? To continuous conversation. If we send our दूत, उसमें दूत बोलते थे, ambassadors to the other person, and if they did good thing, so most of the war was not happened, and we awaited all those wars. So the most important thing in the modern war never gives us anything. I'm very thankful to Shivam that he has given us a wonderful depiction of war, but whether war is necessary. This is, I want that few of the speakers, they also want, because life is very beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Why we want to destroy the life through the wars? So what is the more ideas? The brutality. The army, the front army goes and they club each other and killed each other. What? For what? For give us a better sense, better give a better life. So I don't think war is needed, but sometimes, and it was the old saying that for the peace, war is needed. So kindly, my scholars to this GSTS, change this perception. War is not needed to do peace. How come a family's person die and we are in peace? So no, war never gives us a peace. And thank you very much, all my listeners, all moderators, moderator Samriddhi, that wonderful start, and congratulations that you are going to start a new position uh, in the Department of English as a PhD scholar. So today it's a very versatile understanding. One scholar just got in PhD, one scholar the third year of the PhD going to submit their dissertation, and other scholar try to find out. And Shivam, I want to invite you also to apply in the Department of History in the different university. And if you have interest to work in the Department of African Studies with the war strategy, so you all are welcome to apply in the different parts of universities and different forums. So with these words, I'm very thankful to guest of honor, Ms. Komal Thakran. Your rise is very visible. So all the best, and moderator also your rose to the beautiful path from Uttarakhand to Delhi University, and again in 1 year as a teaching faculty, and again you are welcome to Delhi University. And all my listeners, my colleagues from Samlal Evening College, principal, IQC in charge, and the teacher in charges, and all faculty members in the Department of History, my graduate son, my graduate, postgraduate, MPhil and PhD scholar, for giving us a strength to move ahead from 1 to 50, 50 to 200, and 250 to towards a 262. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you. Have a nice day. We'll meet next with the new ideas with the two young scholars. They collaborate each other. This is the first time we are doing like this, the collaboration with the two scholars on one topic. So most welcome these two young scholars, and I invite all to join us for the next Sunday, and happy Republic Day to all of you with full sincerity and full affection. So do it tomorrow. Go and study the Constitution of India. Why you frame that Constitution, and whether the legality and the importance of Constitution is still persisting. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.